All right, the next thing we're going to do is to display another pop-up upon this is clicked. So the logic here is once we click, we are going to retrieve this link here, which is a JSON object, and then we're going to do another parsing using our volley library to get more information about this particular instance here of an earthquake, right? So as I said here, we are getting this detail. So we go to that detail, and then we are retrieving this link here, which we have retrieved, and then we are going to parse all of this information and put on our alert dialog pop-up. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working on right now. All right, so what we need to do obviously here is the following. Inside of our on info window clicked here, comment this out, we are going to call get quake details. Okay, and what are we going to do? We're going to pass the URL we need. So we're going to say marker.get tag to string. Now we haven't created this, so we are going to create a method. Call this URL. All right. JSON object request. JSON object request is equal to new JSON object request. You've done this a few times now. Request method. It's going to be get. I'm going to pass the string. In this case, just pass our URL that we're passing, and I'm going to say new listener. And that's not all. We have to pass the error because things happen. Say new error, just like that, and finalize our statement. Before we forget, I'm going to say queue because we have to add to queue this request, JSON object request. Okay, so inside here, we are going to be getting all of this information here, okay, which are the cities around the place where this earthquake happened. Okay, we're going to say JSON object, going to be properties. It's going to be equal to response.get JSON object, and the object name is properties, just like that. Of course, this may fail, so we have to surround it, try and catch. So what are we doing here? Let me go back to our JSON here. We're going back and go and get properties, and then we're gonna go ahead and get products. And once that is done, still go through and to get to our contents here, okay? Actually, we're gonna go to GeoServe, and then we're gonna go in to get contents, and inside of that, GeoServe JSON, and get this link here, which is the one we need. All right, so what we need to do now is the following. So we're gonna keep doing that. So next thing, we're gonna go get the product. So we're gonna say JSON, going to products. It's gonna be equal to our properties dot get JSON products. Right now, we are up to here, product. We need to still go and get our GeoServe here. Okay, so we're gonna keep going here. JSON object. In fact, I don't think it's gonna be an object, is it? It's an array, so JSON array object. So JSON array, you can go GeoServe. It's equal to products dot get JSON array. We call this GeoServe. Okay, so now we're up to here. We got this array, but immediate to that, there's an object. So we need to dig in again. We're gonna say for in a loop here, int I is equal to 0, I is less than GeoServe.length I plus plus. Now we need to get this object. Then inside we are going to go get contents object, and inside gonna get the GeoServe.serve JSON object. So hang in there. So we're gonna say JSON object. We're gonna say GeoServe obj is equal to GeoServe.get JSON object. I'm gonna pass I, the index, okay, because it's an object, okay. Now we're gonna be able to go and get the content inside of our first object. Okay, let's go content here. So JSON object content obj is equal geo object dot get JSON object, and pass contents just like that. Okay, so now we are inside our contents, but we still need to go inside because this is the object we want. Okay, it's geoserve.json. So let's dig in again. Now we're going to say JSON object geo JSON object is equal to content object dot get JSON object. What is that called? We call it geoserve.js. I'm gonna go and copy that. That's the name, right? Let me make sure. JSON. Oops. Just like that. So now we are down to our main object. So now we need to go and just get this URL. All of this work just to get this URL. Details. I'm going to create a string here. String details URL is equal to geo JSON object dot get string. And what string is that? Is URL. Okay, very easy. URL. There we go. Perfect. So now we have our string. Now, because we want to be able to use this outside of this scope, we're going to change this instantiated outside. That way we're not restricted. Just give it empty for now. So now we don't have to create there. So we can just use it. Okay. Perfect. So let's go ahead for now. Outside our for, let's log this. Say details to string. Like that. I don't think I needed to do to string because it is a string already. Okay. So now if we run this, we should be able to see when we click. Let me go back and let's see. There we go. There we go. Let's click. Oh, look at that. We have our URL showing for that place. Very, very, very nice indeed. Okay. I'm going to click again. Should have another URL for that particular place. Wow, I thought, so this one just happened when? Today. All of these are happening today. This is 4.4 magnitude. That's pretty high. 4.8. Wow. Look at that. This is all live, folks. And by the time you are watching this and creating this app, you will see all live information here. Look at that. Amazing. Okay, so perfect. So we're able to then get that information that we wanted. So the idea now here, if you go back here, is that once we call this get details, which will be called here, we are getting all that information. So now we will be able to go to these here, to this link, to this object, JSON object, and we'll be able to parse all of this information and put inside of the pop-up window that we are going to create in the next videos.